Okay, welcome to the Lobo podcast. Today we have a Chicago legend, B. Cole. B. Cole grew up on the South Side in the 100s and has made his living as a comedian, filmmaker, actor since he was 19 years old. He reveals one of his cult classic films, one of his first films he ever did, I'm in Love with Crackhead, reveals for the first time on my podcast where it came from, the idea. He's been on comicview, DefJam. We talk about the origins of Southside comedy, all jokes aside, Cotton Club with Bernie Mac, jokes and notes. Talk about filmmaking, Hollywood accounting, how things get shady out in Hollywood, and he reveals on our podcast why he made his move to LA involving Lil Rel. So check it out. Check out my Instagram, the Lobo podcast, B Cole Comedian. Again, my producer James Webb, People of Comedy. You want to do a podcast? Hit him up. I'll be doing some shows at work in Elk Grove Village, 1022, somewhere in the park. That Friday, 10/24, I will be at Zany's again. Like, rate, tell a friend. If you want stickers, DM me. I'll send you some stickers. Please subscribe, rate on iTunes. I'll read it. So please tell a friend. Lobo Den. Okay, welcome to the Lobo Den podcast. Today, we always record since COVID at James Webb's People of Comedy studio.
Hey.
He got new microphones, SMB7s, the same as Joe Rogan uses, because I'm going to go by the fake Mexican Joe Rogan. I'm going to start using that to describe my podcast.
I was going to tell you, it got a Joe Rogan feel up in there,
a little bit more Mexican, and it is Mexican Independence Day. And the reason I know is because a comedian on Facebook, John McCombs, a former Marine, black comedian, put a thing on Spanish I didn't even read. So it is Mexican Independence. Did you know that? Did you see all the Mexicans around with the flags?
Yeah, that's how I know. I saw a dozen cars just flying through the area, man, with flags hanging
and no
out.
insurance. Yeah. But more importantly, today we have a Chicago legend, B. Cole. B. Cole, you've been doing comedy in Chicago since. You started at 19, right?
I started at 19 years old, right after high school.
I'm not going to ask your age. But,
well, you can do the calculation. I started in 1991.
Okay.
It was actually Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh, I remember that day. I used to work retail. But
okay.
Yeah,
And I just decided, this is the day. I'm going to do it. And, did it and just, kept going till now.
And then you have a little cult classic film, I'm in love with a crackhead.
I'm in love with a crackhead.
I'm in love with a crackhead, right?
Yeah.
And then so is that based on you? Not you. Okay, hear me out. Not based on you, but we've all had a friend or me fall for a girl they shouldn't have. Not necessarily a crack. Well, have I? Sort of. Cokehead. But where did that come from? Was that a friend? Is that a specific situation where you were?
Well, actually, it's always been a mystery. People always ask where did it come from. People always assume that I was in love with a crackhead. But actually, man, your show is going to be the first show that I really, really tell. It's just like this song, I forgot the artist, the lady who made, you thought this song was about you, whatever.
You're so vain.
Yeah, you're so vain. Carly Simon, right.
Yep.
Right, so she's never revealed it, but this is the reveal of the inspiration for I'm in Love with a Crackhead. There's a poet that's from Chicago by the name of Malik Yusef. Mm-hmm. Malik Yusef. He came up in the same area I came up in on the South Side, and I used to do these poetry readings, like these poetry shows once a month. And we used
before?
No,
while you were doing stand up.
While I was doing stand up, because with stand-up, the poetry scene was starting to be on the rise in the 90s as well. So we just merged the two.
Okay.
And actually, I was doing these events at the club, all jokes aside, back in the day, that was here. And we called it Full Moon Poetry. So every full moon, that's the night of the show.
And all jokes aside was a place, it was before Jokes and Notes, right?
Yeah, before Jokes and Notes.
Yep.
That was the comedy house for a lot of urban comics to begin, and that's where all of us got our start. Myself, Damon Williams, Deion Cole, Corey Holcomb, everybody. So I was doing poetry events there, Full Moon Poetry. Every full moon, we got a show, and it was this the poet, Malik Yusef. I invited him out, and he had this poem called I'm in Love with a Dancer.
Okay.
And it was just like this beautiful poem. He in love with this dancer, and it's had the girls all, going crazy. Then I'll come up behind them as the host and just like, yo, man, yeah, I'm in love with a crackhead. And that's how it just really kicked off. I'm in love with a crackhead.
Okay.
And my woman and Malik's woman, we're all going to go out on a double date. And, it was a joke behind it. Then the next month, I came with an actual poem. I'm in love with a crackhead.
Oh, you came up with the poem.
Yeah, I came up with the poem.
You did the poem on Comic View, right?
I did it.
Okay.
It wasn't my intention to do it on there because I was keeping that separate.
All right.
But it was just a situation on Comic View to allow me to do it. I had to do it because it was so funny because it was a comedian on Comic View with me that was taping. We went rounds. Went rounds in Comic View where he exhausted all his material. Okay. And we were backstage and he's like, man, I have no more material. He's like, I'm about to do a poem. So I was like, all right, cool. So he went out and did his poem, but it was serious. It was a serious poem. He really had no jokes. Oh. In the audience, you can see the audience looking at him like they want to laugh, but they're like,
what you doing? Yeah, okay.
So I'm backstage, this is the perfect opportunity to do I'm in love with a crackhead. I had no intentions to do it.
Oh, okay.
So I just came out right behind him and I opened it up like, yo, I got a poem. Name my poem is I'm in love with a crackhead. Got the laugh, did a few lines from it. And man, there it was. That was the birth of I'm in love with a crackhead. Nationally,
and then you decided. When did you decide to make the movie? You what? You what? $1,200, right? You spent on that?
Oh yeah. I spent maybe like $1,000. I just gathered some friends together. One of my guys go by the name of Cootie Simmons. Cootie Simmons went off and done great things. Who was he? Cootie Simmons. We actually. Well, he's not. He was the director of the film.
Oh, okay.
And Cootie's went off and done big things. He directed. Basically a lot of Kanye first videos, like Through the Wire, also Jesus Walks. Okay. So Cootie went off and done great things such as that. And he was the one who had faith in Kanye to follow him around Chicago with a camera. And when no one even knew this guy, but Cootie just saw something in him, yo, I got to follow this dude. So now that anybody want footage from all the old footage that you see of Kanye, like in studios or any old vintage footage, that's Cootie. Okay. So Cootie gets a check for every time.
Oh, really?
People, yeah. So, which is good. But Cootie and I, we graduated high school together. Well, now he came out a year before me at Julian High School, but we always been friends. But the thing was yo, let's do this movie. I'm in love with a crackhead. He had this Canon XL camera, and that was the new digital camera, HD camera or whatever. And we cool. So I gathered up some friends, man, such as Deion Cole and even Lil Rel. This was Lil Rel's first movie.
Where was Deion in it? Who was he? I'm trying to remember.
Deion Cole was one of the henchmen for the
for Creamer or whatever.
For Big Cream.
Big Cream.
Yeah, the drug dealer Big Cream. Yeah. And Deion was one of the henchmen along with Mark Simmons. And like I said, it's just
I didn't even notice. So he was in that wig. So I didn't
he was in a wig.
Okay.
Then you had well, like I said, Lil Rel was in it. Ray Lapowski.
Who was Lil Rel in it?
Lil Rel was the stunt double of the crackhead. If you remember,
what was her name?
Anime.
Anime, yeah.
Right.
Anime.
So when, so it was
Anime was a love interest.
Yeah, and it was a scene that Deion and Mark's character as henchmen had to chase and tackle her, down, saying clothesline her.
Wait, what? I swear I saw that, but then did she turn into a dude in that scene?
That was Lil Rel. Rel. See,
I was watching. Right. I was like, wait, is Anime a man? Is this what just happened?
Exactly.
Oh, it threw me off. Okay.
It was intentionally. It was intentional for you to see the person doing the stunt, which was Lil Rel. Okay. So I just had Lil Rel put the wardrobe on of the character Anime. And I gotta say, I was the first guy director to put Lil Rel in drag on film. So yeah. So he did it, and I think Lil Rel was probably into comedy for maybe 3 months already.
Really?
And I saw him at the club at Riddle's Comedy Club, and I was like, "Yo, I'm shooting a movie, man. Why don't you just come out?"
Was it the old location or an house?
The very first location. Okay. In on Harlem, out in Tinley Park.
I drove there a few times.
Oh yeah.
When I put the GPS on, going to the mic, and then I was like, wait a second, not even paying attention. And I was like, man, this is not Alsip. And it's like I texted like, hey, put me on the back, put me on the list, dude. I'm in Tinley Park right now.
Oh yeah, so it just takes you to the original.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the new one is in Alsip. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just played there actually last weekend, which is cool.
In the movie. I forget. Oh, in the movie, there's a guy named Info Man, right?
Info Man.
Does that come from? Look, because we have a guy in Zion. I live in the suburbs, but we have a guy in Zion, Crackhead. His name is Hustle Man, right?
Okay.
I tried to record with him, but we scheduled on his birthday, and then it was it didn't happen. It was unreliable. And I have another. There's my friend's uncle. He's also he's a functioning crackhead. He works or whatever. He doesn't.
Crackheads like superheroes. Man. They can take a whole engine out with their hand. You know,
dude. But he's also. But anyways, we have Hustle Man. Did Info Man come from like a neighborhood dude that you guys had in the?
Yeah, because I think every neighborhood has the Info Man, the person to go to for like when you just need information. Yo, who got the hookup? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? So Info Man's that, but you don't get that. He has to be compensated. You don't get it for free.
No.
So you got to give up some money, stuff like that. Like I said, every neighborhood has a Hustle Man. Every neighborhood has this man, that man, a June bug, all that. So, yeah, but Info Man, that was a character, a very funny character in the movie as well.
Yeah, we have, Hustle Man, he would sell, Info Man sold you information. So Hustle Man comes up to us, he sells us. So we pull up to the house in Zion, right?
Okay.
We lived on, I won't say the street name, but Zion has, if you don't know Zion, it's in the suburbs. It's a very religious town. It was started by very religious people.
Yeah, I played Zion a few times.
Oh, yeah, you played Zion?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, there's parts of it, like, where it's like I have a video of some guy getting shot. I just said to somebody DM'd me like right in my driveway. Yeah.
Oh,
the sheriffs came and gave it to him. We got cameras at the house, and some dude came out and shot him and got him a little bit in the pockets of Waukegan. That are not suburbs. I mean, they are, but like with their own pockets. But I remember, Hustle Man, like he sold his TVs. Like, oh, you know what? This is a funny part. He tried to sell me a VHS tapes, right? And I was like, Hustle Man. I was like, nobody uses. He's like the back of his bike. He had the TV VHS combo stuff. This is like a year or two ago, right? Like people aren't even using DVDs anymore. But I remember one time he sold me ketchup. One time he's like,
oh wow.
And he sold us ketchup. Like, and I was like, all right, I'll get some. I'm thinking some bottles of ketchup he got from Jewel or something like that.
No.
But no, he opened the bag. It was a bunch of packets of ketchup from Wendy's.
That's a good salesman right there.
Yeah, and then the worst part was when he got us though one time. You got to pay attention when Crackhead sell you pastries, right? You got to check the expiration. We bought $30 worth of pastries, right? From like, man, bags and bags of pastries. And then we looked, I started eating. I was like, man, this tastes kind of funny. And I look at it, they're all expired, right?
Yeah, it's always a catch with a crackhead. It's called the crackhead catch. That's what it is. It's the crackhead catch. So you got to expect something dysfunctional with product that they sell, anything.
Yeah, but what have you been doing so last time I think when I first saw you, it was in Waukegan. It was like my first year of comedy.
Yeah, I know. And I know you.
Yeah.
And I know over the years you've been trying to get me to some mics out there or something you were doing.
What was I doing? Oh, you know what? So
in Kenosha or something? Or
I ran 2 rooms, and I ran a room. Sort of. Somebody came up to me and they asked me to run, and I was like, it was good experience producing, but it was like I didn't want to attempt. So I did some at this bar that shut down. Actually, funny, before it was called Legits, but before it was called Legits.
Okay.
My sister was on the podcast. She was we didn't tell this story, but she actually got jumped with the previous ownership. It was called Bucanas. I remember.
Yeah.
She got jumped in the back, and I got into a security guard.
Oh wow.
Oh, Shimmy B. You know Shimmy B, right? Yeah. He was there making fun of the place, saying like, man, he saw all the TVs. Like, man, give this place a month. These TVs are gonna be gone. This is gonna be gone. Yeah, that's what happened. It shut down. But but no, it was there, and then I had another one. But right now there's a few spots where people are going out to drink. I don't know what's going on in this. People, how are where do you stay?
I was in LA. I moved to LA in November, but COVID brought me back home.
There's nothing happening in LA.
There's nothing. Everything shut down. Right? I actually was the last flight out of Los Angeles to get back to Chicago, like before like the real serious lockdown.
Yeah,
it was like straight. I felt like straight Kurt Russell from Escape from LA.
Yeah,
I was like trying to get out of there, booking flights, man. It was just horrible. But I got a flight out, got back home, and man, it's just been just me really just at home resetting for the past 4 months. 2020, despite of all the deaths and all, but for a comedian, a traveling comedian, always rotating with the world. I mean, this was a good pause.
Yeah.
And I could probably speak for a lot of comedians, a good pause for us to just reset, just reevaluate things and take care of the business part, because we so focused on the show of having a good show. And if you're constantly doing shows, you're just more focused on practicing and having your show tight. So this type of pause, without the show, you can't do nothing but work on your business. And that gave me opportunity to do that. I got my new management company going, a production company called Shot Fly Entertainment, LLC. So, plan on doing a lot of big things with that coming up, working with a lot of young comedians.
And, like, for me, it was the first time. So that first week, what was it after? I think it was after St. Patrick's Day. Like or something like. Is that first week we're kind of like, it kind of shut down. I was like, so after it was the first time after work, not going to a mic or doing a show, and I was like, and so there was literally nothing to do. I was actually kind of relaxed. I was like, and I realized, man, I haven't taken a break in like 6 years for me, and I was like, no type of break, and I was like, whoa, and it was kind of like, so now it's like I still, I have people message me. I got some shows coming up, but now I'm a little bit more picky because I haven't had that type of time, whatever, to myself in a while. So.
Yeah, and see, for me, I haven't performed. Well, I haven't set out from my performance like that since. Maybe like the longest I took a break like that is when I actually quit comedy. Maybe like within a year I started in 1991.
Okay.
Well, I would say it was 1992 because I started at the end of 91. So in 92, I quit somewhere in that year for like 3 months because I had
was
my
it a girl.
No.
That's more like me. Okay.
No.
That's something I would do.
I had my first like bad show. I bombed.
Okay.
And the thing was that like when I started in November, I started at this this place called the South Shore Culture Center. They were doing a show there in one of the halls every Friday that they called the studio, a variety show, and like comedians, singers, everybody used to come through. But I was one of the comedians and I became a favorite there, where I was being there every week, where the promoter and the producer there was telling me, yo, they love you here, but you got to get out. You got to branch off, And he's like, go see, he asked me, do you know Bernie Mac? I was like, no, I never heard of him. He's like, man, go see Bernie Mac. I'm going to set it up for you at the Cotton Club. He do Monday nights, So this is my first time outside the, showroom that I've been performing in for maybe months and just got comfortable. So
that was the only spot you were performing?
That's the only spot I was performing, but I was good. I was like, people were enjoying me every week, But then when I got to the Cotton Club with Bernie Mac, and Bernie Mac, he just did Def Comedy Jam for the first time, and he put me up, man. I just froze. It was something just different about the atmosphere. It was more of an older crowd, the Cotton Club crowd, So it was just a bad show where, I didn't get booed or heckled. It was just silence is worse than booze, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'd rather like somebody that makes some noise, hiss and stuff, but it was just silent, I'm only hearing myself, and then I see Bernie on the side of the stage like wrap it up. So man, I get off, and then what's the worst feeling is like for a host to go up behind you and just get the room right back up, like
because it tells you right away it wasn't the room. Yeah,
it was like, okay, so I jumped in my car, man, and I drove home to the South Side like in tears, like all the way, right? Got pulled over by the police that night. He pulled me over. He saw me crying, just like, get the hell out of here, And I quit for 3 months, and then I took a job. And here it is. I'm still 19, going on 20. So it's like I'm thinking life's over for me and shit. But what I did, I took a job at Blockbuster Video in Evergreen Park. Just because I still want to be close to the movies.
Okay.
So I'm like, man, I just, if I'm gonna be in the movies, I'm gonna be right in Blockbuster Video. So I did that for 3 months till the urge of comedy just like called me back. And then that's when I just got back into it and never stopped again until 2020 April.
April.
No, March. I stopped in March. Yeah, and I've been sitting out. That's the longest I've sat out since then.
And when you bombed, kind of the same thing happened when I did that show with you guys. That was, I think, my first or second year at the Ramada, right?
That was in Waukegan.
Yeah, it was Waukegan, right? Yeah. And I remember that show. It was a little bit of an older crowd, right? And it was the first time I had a little bit of an older crowd. And then I remember I had, it was first, so I had some rough material. What was it? Maybe some religious stuff. And I was like, you know what? Maybe no. It was like, next time, don't do this, right? Don't do that. I had some religious material, and I said something more grab. Like I don't curse a lot, but I was saying something about I'm sure I said butthole or something like that, but maybe not
Right.
so much. Or talking about
Kind of got the crowd kind of
like
turned on you a little bit.
But I know, like, it's funny because I see people do it now, right? And it's like, man, it's an older crowd, and it's like, don't open up with ass eating jokes. And it's like, you see it, I was like, nah, don't. And I saw it, I saw it recently. I did a show, and I was like, and she was, they get off the stage, and they're like, oh man, they just didn't get me. I was like, I don't know.
Well,
if that's
just get them to love you first with a few things, man. Once you get them into the routine, then maybe like 15 minutes in, you can like just throw it in there, And if it doesn't take, it's forgiven.
Yeah.
Because they're like, yo, this guy,
they really like you. Yeah.
I've been enjoying this guy, so that's forgiven, But yeah, if opening up with it to a cold crowd with a cold performance, yeah, it's not going.
And how'd you get? How old were you when you got the first Comic View?
How did I get the first?
No, how old were you when you got the first Comic View?
I was actually, man, what was so crazy? I was 20. I got it.
So it's just after you started.
I just started, and the thing is, when Comic View was around, then they were traveling around the country scouting comedians.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't the send in a VHS tape, send in video. No, they were coming out. Producers were coming out to see the live performances, and they numbered. It was like 20 comedians out of Chicago in that audition, and I was the one chose. They only chose two. It was myself and comedian Robert Hines.
Okay.
And they chose us two, and we went and did Comic View. Now, granted, like as a young artist and a kid doing that, not thinking about like, yo, like, maybe I should just, wait, get more experience and stuff. Not that
it's like a year.
It's just a year, but I mean, I wish I would develop a little bit more. And besides, not only that, you got a lot of the old school comedians that was there before me, and seeing this young kid just get this shot, and it's just like, whoa. But you got to look at it as like, what's for you is for you, But at the same time, still be wise about your decisions, because sometimes you can make a decision and do things too early or not. Because the moment I did that BT Comic View performance, it was only like 5 minutes.
Okay. A
5-minute set. Now I'm getting calls from all around the country, because you got to think about it. This is the time, no social media. Everything was just television, So that's all people had, like, was for comedy, like BT and Def Comedy Jam. So getting on that, I'm getting calls from all around the country. Come headline my room. Come headline my show.
And these are directed to you, right? You don't have an agent or anything
right,
at the time?
At this time. And you know what? I had a manager, a guy who I grew up with, Vince Bass. And we've grown up together since kids, like 5 years old and stuff like that. So he went off to school, to college, and he graduated from Howard University, got his degree in business management. And then when he came home, it was just coincidence. I'm doing comedy, and he he wanted get into the profession and build up his clientele. So we kicked that whole thing off, me and him. So yeah, he was kind of getting all them calls and setting up the show. So we had a good thing going, operating. But like I said, when I get to the shows, it's like, here I am. I don't have a full 45-minute to an hour set. I give them my best 15.
Oh, so wait. So you were doing, were you doing headliner?
I was headlining. I mean, because that television really made you, it's just the magnitude at that time. Just like, yo, you seen on television, just boom. Like today, everybody's on television. People get on their phone every day and go live. It's like, yo, TV, it doesn't, give that effect today as much it did back then, because it was so limited. But now it's like everyone's famous. You turn your phone on, you're famous.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I think my sister's starting an OnlyFans, by the way. After doing my podcast, she put it on her Snap. She was like waiting for the verification. But yeah, everybody, I know.
Right. So that's just what it was. So I was traveling around the country, man, and just having bad experience. My first tour around.
Okay, so did you have like headliners opening up for you, and you were like the young kid with
because I guess I was just this new face during that time, and it's just like, I guess that people just wanted to utilize the new guy, because like a lot of promoters,
that new guy thing is hot.
Yeah, because a lot of promoters, right? Because they go through a lot of the comedians who's been out there and stuff like that, and then when they see the new hot guy and stuff like that, you know, they'll work you to death if you allow them. You know what I'm saying? They'll get much as they can out of you.
But, Chappelle used to talk about what's cats, you know.
Yeah, like you said, you gotta make that decision for yourself. Like even Chris Tucker went through the same thing when he did Def Comedy Jam, and Chris Tucker was touring, and he only had a good 20 minutes, and like he struggled after that 20. You know, but you know, he went off and did Friday and became a big movie star and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just that situation. You got to really know when to say no, because Comic View wanted me to come back the following year, and I didn't go back for 3 years. So by me not going back for 3 years,
did somebody tell you that at that age? Because at 20, I wouldn't have that type of.
No, it's just like my experience, you know, and my conscience was saying, yo, kick back and develop, you know. So I developed for 3 years, and when I got on Comic View, that's when you saw I'm in Love with a Crackhead. That's when you saw a lot of other signature jokes that stuck out from my routines, because I've developed all that. I went to the gym. I went to the mics, open mics, and just
what were the spots at
that
time in Chicago?
Oh man, you had the like I said, all jokes aside, you had the Click.
Okay.
It was even the Comedy Act Theater even opened up here. That originated in L.A. on Crenshaw. My man Mike Williams, the owner, who found a lot of talent from Martin Lawrence, Robin Harris, because Robin Harris was the host for the Comedy Act Theater in L.A. Because Robin Harris was actually supposed to be the host of Def Comedy Jam, but when he passed, they gave it to Martin Lawrence. So, but they opened up here in Chicago. And that was short lived, but we had a lot of mics, man, and then a lot of bars and a lot of, you know, hole in the wall joints and stuff like that. You know, we just go work out anywhere with a mic, man. We just in the crowd, we just go get out. You know?
When did Jokes and Oaks come around?
Jokes and Oaks came around maybe. Oh wow,
because Riddles was there before. Riddles.
It was Riddles, yeah, definitely Riddles. But Riddles was more like they just gave us a black night. You know, it was just like that one
Laugh Factory Chocolate Sundays.
That one Sunday night. It was called Harlem Nights because it was on Harlem Street. And D. Ray Davis, he did it. D. Ray Davis produced that show every Sunday. Did a magnificent job. Everybody's been there. You know, so that was very well successful, and it D-Ray grew from that, and that's when he moved to LA, and rest is history with him. But yeah, man, it's, you know, the mics around, it's been plenty. And it still is, you know, but all jokes aside and jokes and notes, all jokes aside is really the same formula from of jokes and notes, because Mary Lindsay, the owner of Jokes and Notes, was partial owner of All Jokes Aside.
Oh, okay.
You know, she was partners with Raymond Lambert of All Jokes Aside, but they branched off and she came off and did Jokes and Notes. So that whole structure of the comedy, like very well ran and stuff like that, it was all from that blueprint. And Mary used that, and that's why Jokes and Notes
and the
was
DJ
so
and the DJ and the DJ. When I did Jokes and Notes once, right? I was a little open micer, and I planned it out perfectly, because I was like, I saw Calvin was hosting, and I already did the show with Calvin over with you guys at the Ramada, and I was like, and it was one of the coldest days in the winter, and it's like, oh, this is gonna, here's my chance, it's gonna push people away. It was like, you know, below at the 0 mark or low, and I was like, oh,
and still a nice crowd, right?
Yeah, and
people
I was like, people still come out. So I was like, I'm going. I happened to get in that like mic rotation, and I went up. I learned my little 3. So that's the one. I mean, I went again after that, but I didn't get on that night.
Okay.
I forgot who hosted, but I remember I planned it out, but. Man, like, it's something you don't see maybe on Northside Zoom is that there's no DJ, there's no music, like places there's no you know, the music that comes out.
Well,
right?
The thing is with comedy, originally comedy never even had a DJ or music, or you know, if it did have a music, it's just the Tonight Show band, dun, 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 and all that type. You know, you come on that. But Def Comedy Jam really introduced the hip hop into comedy. You know, Kid Capri was the very first comedy DJ, so everyone saw that and just wanted to take that blueprint and put that into their show. So that's why you got DJs for all these comedy shows now, you know. Like I said, when you do a lot of more North Side comedy, you know, in Chicago, you know, it's sometimes no DJ at all, you know, and you just go up to round of applause and stuff like that. And I'm okay with that, you know, because I I actually started before Def Comedy Jam. I started maybe like the same year Def Jam premiered. So I wasn't influenced by Def Comedy Jam like a lot of comedians who come after that been influenced by it, you know. So my more influence.
Who are your influences?
Well, of course, like I love the greats like Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Red Fox, such as that. But the comedian that actually made me want to do comedy, and I say this every interview, is Damon Wayans.
Damon was a killer. People don't know Damon was a killer.
Damon is a brilliant writer, you know, the way and the way he delivers his jokes, the way he performs them and stuff like that. So that's the guy who made me say, I want to get on stage. You know, I always had a sense of humor from Eddie and Richard and stuff like that, while I used to clown in school and stuff. But, man, made me want to take it serious and get on stage. I saw Damon Wayans do his HBO half-hour special before anyone even knew this guy's name. This is before In Living Color. This is like, who is this dude? You know, you seen him like in specks of things here and there, but like you really saw him get down and do a stand-up. And it was me and a friend. We was just sitting there watching. And I mean, I'm like 18 years old, like, you know, and he just say, yo, B, man, he reminds me of you. And I'm like, what? And I was like, wow, if you see me in him like that, this is what I need to do, you know? So that's what made me start considering comedy and do it. And man, like I said, Damon Wayans was my influence because it was just some sort of connection that I had with him as far as a stand-up comedian. And he was like my sensei. You know, it's like I'm studying this dude and his writing skills, everything. And if someone would watch my performance, stuff like that, and now knowing that Damon was my influence, they'd be like, okay, I can see a little of that. But the thing is, I'm not trying to be Damon, don't want to be Damon. I'm definitely myself. But I eventually met Damon. And I met Damon he had a book signing here in Chicago at Evergreen Plaza. Like he had a book, he was on WGN promoting it. He's going to be at Evergreen Plaza. Man, I shot to the mall and to go meet him. I got his book and stood in line, was about to stand in line, but he recognized me. And he's like, what's up, man? I'm like, I'm like, whoa, he's like, yeah, I watch you on TV. You know, this is my Comic View.
Comic View, okay.
But I didn't think Damon watched Comic View. So like he knew who I was, and then I'm telling him like, yo, man, you my mentor, bro. And like, he didn't believe me, like, yeah, whatever, stuff that, brushing it off. But we had a cool conversation, man. And come to find out, man, me and his birthday is on the same day.
What's your birthday?
September 4th. So
we just missed your birthday.
Yeah, September. Birthday. Yeah, so me and Damon, so it's always like it's that kind of connection, just like that little energy we shared. And it's just like, yo, two Virgos, man, comedians,
When you started doing, what your parents think about you doing comedy? Were they supportive, or were they like, what are you doing? Or
it's so crazy that because it was 8 of us growing up in the house, 8 kids. So my mom just
where do you
I'm like
fit?
I'm like the baby of the first set of 4.
Baby of the first set of 4.
And then it's 4 after me.
Okay.
But I'm like the middle child. But at the same time, my mom and dad was just focusing on every kid to graduate high school and not do any time in jail. So
wait, you guys grew up in the hundreds, right?
We grew up in the hundreds, right? So we grew up in the neighborhood where you can easily get in trouble. But my parents, man, they were together and doing their job as parents to be disciplined and stuff that we didn't understand that we surely understand now. But the thing is, they were just happy for me to find something to do, And when I did start doing comedy, my mom, in hindsight, I see like she kind of had her hang-ups about it, but she just supported me. My mom is a real like spiritual religious woman, and she just prayed for me. She just prayed so much because she knew things of Hollywood that I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
She knew what I was going into. And me as a young kid, 19 years old, still like, just amazed of all the colorful things Hollywood put out there for you, not seeing behind the curtain and not, it's all smoke and mirrors once you really see what's going on. Like my mom knew that,
okay.
just knew that, And to this day, I just think like, wow, maybe my mom's prayers maybe things didn't happen for me the way they should because my mom prayers protected me from a lot of stuff, you know, because there was a lot of doors and opportunities that I could have, you know, walked into, but it's just things didn't work out. And sometimes that's protection, you know, from praying mama.
Did anybody try to hustle you when you were a young comedian?
Yeah, man.
I got some of the hustle stories. Somebody tried.
Oh man,
because earlier,
it's so many promises, so many. Everybody, you know, will run script on you about, hey man, I got this. You would be great for this, and
especially after you're on TV.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like my thing is like, yo, demonstration is better than conversation. You know, like, yo, you got to prove just in action. Let me know, you know, because I actually, my first time, I got a call from one of the producers of Friday. His name was DJ Pooh. DJ Pooh he wrote Friday with Ice Cube.
Okay.
And he was doing another movie called 3 Strikes. So he called me for 3 Strikes. I'm in Chicago. He gave me a call. Said, yo, I want you to play this role in the movie. I'm like, cool, bet. Give me the whole rundown. They send me the script, man. And as the days were getting close to the date that he told me that I'll be flying out to LA, stuff like the phone calls were lightening up. They stopped. Then I eventually were calling them. Then when I called, they like, oh, we're on the set filming right now. I'm like, what? I'm like, well, I mean, I'm supposed to be, you know. So it's like when you don't get a call, they don't call you to tell you like, we changed our mind, we're going a different direction. They just stop calling. You just won't hear anything. So once you get that silence, it's like, man, you know, maybe they went another direction, but let me call and find out. And then you call and find out, then that's when you get the news.
Yeah,
you know,
the same thing happens to me with women.
Man, you got a little bad thing going with ladies, I see, brother. You've been mentioning women since the top of the show.
Yeah, it's how's your love life? I mean, being in entertainment, it's not. Well, for me, I'm a mess as far as women. You know what I mean? The rest of my life, very organized on point with women.
Yeah,
it's
throughout all my life, really, man. Growing up as a kid, I always was the guy who always loved to have a connection with one person and just, man, that's just my person, you know, who I'm with. And eventually, you know, things don't happen. Nothing lasts forever, you know. And I had some great relationships throughout the years. And like I said, sometimes people just grow apart, and you know, people are in your life for a reason at that time, you know. So I learned a lot from a lot of the relationships that I had, stuff like that, the whole nine. And like I said, it's just now it's just man, I'm so focused on me now because I've given a lot into my relationships, you know. I've given a lot of me. So now it's just like me, you know. Yeah. And that's what one thing this whole pandemic 2020 has allowed me to do is just, you know, find more of me, like, you know, soul searching and loving thyself and, you know, doing all that, because here I am for years. Like I said, I was there for a lot of people, man, just, you know, pleasing them for what they wanted and what they needed in life, you know. And I'm a giver, you know. So, but the thing is like, yo, it's time for me to give self, you know, look out for me.
Yeah, when you said focusing on yourself, I was on the phone with my friend this morning. Is today Tuesday? No, yesterday. I was on the phone with my friend, right? And I was like, man, I need to take a break from women, like for like a week or two, because I was like, man, I want to do some edits of the podcast. And I was thinking of all these things I wanted to do, and I was like, can't do it if I, you know, hang out with this girl who I don't think she's pregnant, but.
You better check, brother. You like, I think
she's gassing me because she sent me a snap. She's like, you know, like I missed my period or I'm late, and I was like, I don't believe it. I really don't.
Right.
Some like 21-year-old. If you're listening, she won't listen. I'm sure this will come out in a few weeks. I'm sure she won't be talking to me by then, so it doesn't matter. But like she sent me like, oh, I'm a few days late, and it's like really, but she's not pregnant. Like I went to Walmart today and just bought 2 boxes of condoms. The Fiji water I brought in right here. This is actually I took the condoms out and put it in this Walmart bed, right? Because it's like I'm gonna put them by my bed, but I mean I really don't use them anyways. It's just for show. But look, but it made me. Well, you put them on at first, but eventually, you know, the girl's like, all right.
You're probably wearing one right now just to be safe. Just like, hey, I got one on right now, brother. Just in case. You never know.
Look, I was a late bloomer, so I did that as a kid one time. Like I used a condom, and my mom saw to. for myself, and then my mom saw it, and she confronted me. She's like, Giovanni, like, are you having sex, blah blah? And I didn't know what to say, because I didn't want to. I wasn't having sex, but I didn't want to tell her, like, I'm not. But I used it on myself to kind of to know what I was doing. And you can't tell that to your Mexican mom, right? I think I did, though. I don't know. She understands me now. But what what I was saying is, so it made me like that Tuesday. I was like, she told me it's Tuesday, and you usually don't have sex until the weekend. So this is how you talk. But no, I did. Like, there's a bunch of stuff I want to do, and I know I get, like, I started. Yeah. Like, there's a few. I already committed to some things with some ladies, and it's like, man, there's a lot. Yeah. I take breaks. You know what I mean? Are you gonna break? Like, I'm gonna take a break for today and tomorrow, and we'll see what happens on Friday. But
well, time is what you need, man. That's one thing you can't get back, and like, you got to use it well. And the person who you do decide to spend time with, the energy just got to be right. The connection, the vibe with a person. It's like, I don't want to be around anyone where you feel tension, and it's just, you can just feel it in the air. You need that good vibes around me, man. And that's the thing where it's like, even like for the past couple of years, I just been in, getting into my zen, just meditating and just finding out, who I am, unlearning and relearning, stripping myself from ego and all these other things, man. And just like, yo, who am I? And that's what I've been doing. And man, I've been feeling so pleased with it that it's like, yo, I don't want anyone to come in to disturb that. And not only that, once you're on that frequency and that energy, the universe isn't even going to allow those people near you. Those type of people who share that different energy from you, they'll be separated, from your path. And that's what I'm saying. So my path has just been like going along. It's just been running into people who just on that same wave.
You've been living off comedy since you've been 19.
Forever,
basically.
man.
Yeah, right. So you haven't had
only job was Blockbuster Video, man.
That was it. Okay,
that was my only job. Yeah, 3 months.
Yeah. And then you went comedy, and then what? When did you start? What got you into wanting to do the films?
Well, I wanted to do films because the thing is, I wanted to be in films. Mm-hmm. So by me not. I went on a few auditions, and then, like I said, the whole thing with DJ Pooh and like taking me off the movie, and I'm like, you know what, man, I can't have nobody controlling my destiny like this. So this got to be done, by self. So I got to do my own thing. So that's what I've done. I'm in love with the crack. I wrote a script. I'm in love with a Crackhead, and it was a full-length script, but I only had enough money to condense it to a short. And we did it, and like I said, it's just become a cult classic. And like I said, it's available even on YouTube. Just go to my YouTube channel, man. You can check it out. It's very hilarious. Be Cold Films. And man, like I said, that's what got my movie career going. And from that, I just kept continuing writing screenplays, not knowing how I was gonna get the funding, because I was like, I'm never doing this again, funding my own shit. I can't do that. I mean, just like, because I want to make the movie the way I want it, as I've written it, as I vision it. So I got to have the proper funds to have it that way. So what inspired me to do my second film was a feature film called A Get Together. But what inspired me from that, just even on the audition of Barbershop. I went on the audition Barbershop. I didn't get the role. And actually, me and Dion Cole, we auditioned together. Because it was a role in a movie that Anthony Anderson and Lamar Tate, Lorenz Tate brother, they both had the role of these guys who stole the ATM and taking the ATM around the city trying to figure out how to open it. That was right. If you remember them characters, that was me and Dion what we were auditioning for. So we didn't get the role, but they gave Dion a speaking role, and then they asked me if I want to do some extra work. Oh yeah, I'll do some extra work. I sat in there for one day as an extra, and I was like, nah, I can't do that. I got to do, I do my own thing. So went off and then I did my own movie. I started my own film, A Get Together, and that became another cult classic, and that's available on streaming sites on Tubi. If you're familiar with Tubi streaming site, it's free to watch on there. IMDb TV, it's on there. It used to be on Netflix. It used to be. They ran it a lot. They ran that movie a lot, but it was a deal that I did with that movie that I never spoken about, that caused them to take everything down, you know, and because it got to a point where they were now they're running from me.
Is that shady accounting you hear about?
Yeah, bro. It's like, you know, it's like,
how does it work? They got to make, we got to make our money, and then you make your money.
It's not even that. The thing is, the company I did the deal with was First Look Entertainment out of L.A. Did the first deal with them, and they end up going bankrupt without my knowledge. You know, then when, you know, because the thing is, I'm waiting on the next check to come to, you know, because I think I got one check from them, and then it was like every marking period, whatever, you know, you get, you know, checks and stuff. So and then that's my duty to disperse out and pay everyone who needs to get paid. But the thing is, they went bankrupt, and this is when I started seeing my movie everywhere. You know,
after they went bankrupt.
After they went bankrupt, my movie was everywhere. It was on HBO, it was on Stars, it was on the Movie Channel, it was on Showtime, and they were showing this movie like almost every day. I'm getting calls like, "Man, your movie's on. It's on Netflix." I'm like, "What the heck?" So I called First Look Entertainment. That's when I learned, like I told you, go back to Hollywood. They don't call you to tell you bad news. They want you to call to retrieve it yourself, like, you know, get answers. So that's when I found out they went bankrupt. I'm like, you went bankrupt? Well, who got my movie? Because I'm seeing it everywhere. Somebody owed me money, you know. So did some research on that, found out Millennium Films had my movie. So reached out to...
So they bought it? How does that work? They buy
Millennium Films bought, I guess it bought all their contracts. They went bankrupt, bought the company, but they did not honor the contract that I had with First Look Entertainment. So now they have my movie running around. So I put my lawyers on them. I put my lawyer on them, and, you know, threatened to subpoena them for their books and everything. And we need to see all the records, the Nelson ratings, and all of a sudden everything just went away quickly. Like, I'm like, okay, and now they're on the run. I'm looking for them. Now all of a sudden, my movie isn't even under Millennium Films anymore. So I find it again, and I find it on these streaming sites. I'm like, okay, who got it? It's FilmRise. It's a company called FilmRise. So I do some research on them, and they're like a sister company of Millennium. Millennium just created this whole other, I guess, just trying to escape, you know, from me going on. So now I'm on the pursuit of trying to get them, you know. It's like, dude, I just want to talk. I just, you know, you guys got my movie. You see it's me in it. You know, it's like my movie. You guys are like straight robbing me instead. So
they don't respond? I showed up to somebody one time. They don't respond? They're all in that lane, right?
Well, like I said, they didn't respond until I had to put a lawyer on them, you know. And like with these companies, man, they don't care about lawsuits. They don't care. They know your money's not long enough to keep it going. you know? Yeah. They're like, yeah, it eventually go away and stuff like that. But like I said, this is my first time ever talking about it on any interview. So maybe like just awareness out there can get some attention to get some help, man, on getting my movie. You know, I'm like I said, I still have the rights to it. I can go ahead and set other deals for it, like regardless. But thing is, man, these guys got it. They're making money.
Something's going on. I just saw something's going on with Kanye right now. I just saw him pee on a Grammy on Instagram today. Did you guys see that?
What? Well, you know, Kanye is no surprise, man. He does everything.
Isn't he having a battle right now with
himself?
No, yes. With the music companies. Oh, he's always having battles with himself. But the music company, the last 2 days. Go to his Instagram. I just saw, there it is. Told you, pees on his own Grammy.
Oh wow, really?
Gets Twitter timeout.
Oh wow, really?
Let's see what's going on here. He's wearing Yeezys.
Wow.
For the non-YouTube listeners, Kanye West has his Grammy in the toilet, and he's peeing on it, and he put it on his Twitter.
That's crazy. That's a Yeezy Peasy right there.
Yeezy Peasy.
He just gave it a Yeezy Peasy.
And he is wearing Yeezys. And then we saw his outdoor camera. Oh, he has a nice pool.
Oh my gosh.
But I think the reason is he's having a battle right now with his music. He posted something on Twitter. Can you go to Tanya's Twitter? He posted something on Twitter about like not having the rights to your music. Twitter says Johnny violated rules with of journalist's phone. Oh, he put somebody's phone number up there too.
But see, that's the thing, man. Was like once you
Prince.
Yeah. Once you're in the business for long, once you get past the whole like, yo, I made it and my dreams are true, and you're starting to see a lot, and you start to know what's really going on and who's really like the gatekeepers out here and who's like signing the checks and all that. And just like you want that for yourself, you know, you providing your talent, you giving everything you got, and you getting crumbs from a loaf of bread.
Oh, here it is. When you sign a music deal, you sign away your rights. Without the masters, you can't do anything with your own music. Someone else controls it where it's played.
Crazy.
When it's played, artists have nothing except the fame, touring, and merch. And I'm going to pee on my Grammy.
And that's not fun. That's not fun,
No.
bro. That's not fun.
No.
It's just like, hey, like I say, Prince went through the same thing, man. So, like, a lot of artists.
Well, they get you when you're young, right? Because you don't know when it's your first deal, right? And you don't know any better. And they're like,
you sign it, right? You just want to
I got to have
it.
a record deal. Or
you want to make it. You just want to get to the other side. And once you over there, you're like, yo, this ain't really what it's cracked up to be. You know?
I got a question for you, B.
Yeah.
Do you think now, like we talked about earlier, how like the advent of like social media and like everyone's on their phone and all that, do you think it's easier now to kind of get away from traditional media and kind of own your own stuff more?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, there's more independent artists out here now who's really doing. And see, artists before, like pre-social media and all that, they really envy these young guys. Like, look at Chance the Rapper.
I was going to say, yeah, look at Chance.
Even Drake. You know, these guys went without labels and, you know, they did it independently, you know. But like as an artist, you do that. Even Dane Cook as a comedian, Dane Cook started way with MySpace. You know, he got his followers up and all that, and then he targeted the colleges, which was brilliant. You know, and he did the tourgasm and went on the college circuit and built a name for himself. But it was all through social media. He had no agents and none of that stuff. He did it all by himself. So yeah, today you can do it independently, and it's the best way to do it. And now the big execs and all the companies, that's what they fear now. It's like, yo, now they're removing food from our table now. You know what I'm saying? There's no more ownership going on. But they will get some.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's some that will avoid it, but it's some who still will sign that dotted line because they're eager and they ready to get the big advancement and all that, you know.
Yeah, especially when you're hard up for cash. Because
man, like even when I watched the New Edition story, man, New Edition's like my favorite R&B music group, and seeing this story and seeing how they weren't getting paid.
How old were they when they?
Oh man,
they were like 19 or something.
No. They were like, man, 12, 13, preteens, man, and they were Candy Girl, and all that. So they were really taking advantage of, man. They would go on tour and come off a tour and get a check to split like $1.49 and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's got to be split between the whole group. You know what I'm saying? And they recall on all the expenses that they, you know, the company had the label had to pay for. Like, you know, you guys wanted this, you guys put you up in hotels and you had the tour bus and all that expenses that's come out of your money. And that's all they had to split at the end of the tour, man. And that's like, wow. And here it is growing up, watching these guys. And like, you just see them on TV, music videos. You think like, yo, these guys made it. They famous. They rich and this and that. But like I said, you see behind. Now the veil is like coming off where you see a lot going on behind Hollywood, you know.
And I heard even there's the K-pop people. They I don't think they get a bunch of the Korean, but because my sister and some other friends are obsessed. I went to go see one of the K-pops, BTS, right? I went to go see BTS.
Okay.
At Soldier Field. They sold out like the whole weekend, like 2 nights sold out. Soldier
That
Field.
BTS, that's
some Korean. Don't play their music. Keep the music down.
I think I've seen these guys on.
They look like girl Asians.
Yeah. I saw these guys on SNL, man. They're pretty dope.
Yeah.
And it's like
feminine.
everyone loved, like the girls love these guys, like American girls. They really made a big impact over here in the States.
Jimin, Jungkook, Suga, J-Hope, and they like rap.
Oh, well, you try putting that in a song like Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do that like smoothly like New Edition. Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike. If I love the girl, who cares who you like? Try that with them names.
So like when I went to go see him, right, sold out Soldier Field 2 days in a row. They had all these little. Everybody in the audience had this little like thing that you connected to your phone, Bluetooth, with this light, and the DJ would play. That thing was like $60 a piece. Everybody had a sheet or whatever. But from what I hear is all that money goes to these management. They're on a salary, right? They get their salary. Okay. All that money goes. So it's what I heard. I'm not gonna actually look it up and back it up. I'm just gonna spew what I heard. Somebody told me. But sure
I wouldn't doubt it though. It's someone's really getting over on that. What are you benefiting from it?
Do you want to not retire in Chicago? You want to stay in Chicago? This is because. I mean, I think during this COVID time, it made me realize, man, for me, I was like, I like being a little bit outside. I live in the burbs, and I was like, you know what? I kind of like it. I come here, to see James and stuff. I'm prepared, but there's a lot of bumps here. I think hit somebody with my car. I don't know, but like, whatever. But like, is this where you want to be, Chicago?
I prefer to be it because it's home. It's like it's the only place I know and I love. Like I said, moving out to LA back in November, I really made the decision like, yo, I'm out. I'm gone. I got to get out of here, because I've spent so much time here. And every year that I've been here in Chicago, I always had a room. I always had productions going on. So I never was out of work because I created work for myself. But it's gotten to the point where I was doing these films and movies and actually, man, putting a lot of guys on. In their first films and stuff and all that. And it was like, man, even helping some guys out there in Hollywood for them to succeed. Because, right now they're at the light is on them. So let me help you maintain that spotlight and proceed further. I'm not going to say names, but, there's guys out there who you see now just, like, man, that didn't, like, people who you kind of help over to get over the wall, they just don't throw a rope back.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, man, you come now. They get it and sprint. But the thing is, what motivated me to move to L.A., bro, this was the last straw. And I'm going to say the name Lil Rel. I saw him on Jimmy Kimmel. Okay. I saw him on Jimmy Kimmel. And Jimmy Kimmel asked him a question like, yo, what was your first movie experience because they was talking about the movie Get Out and Uncle Drew he was doing. It's like, man, what was your first movie like? And he said, man, R. Kelly Trapped in the Closet. And I was like, whoa, man, here I am. I'm sitting up in my seat at home because I'm thinking I'm about to get the shout out on Jimmy Kimmel, because I put Lil Rel in his very first movie after 3 months he'd been doing comedy, and like the night I met Lil Rel, he approached me as a fan, like, yo, B, man, I'm a fan, and he asked me to stay at Riddle's, like, can you stay and watch me, man, watch my performance, and I was on my way out the door. I said, I'll watch you. I watched him, thought he was funny. I said, yo, I'm filming this movie right now. I was in the middle of production. I'm filming a movie. I'm in love with a crackhead. Why don't you come by the set? I'm gonna have something for you. He didn't know what he was coming to do, but when he got there, I already had him set, like, it's gonna be a quick cameo, but you're gonna be in it, and you're gonna be the stunt double for the crackhead. So, like I said, that's how he became the stunt double in my movie. But when Jimmy Kimmel asked him, he bypassed all that and went to R. Kelly straight, whatever, Trapped in the Closet. Now, here's what's ironic about that. Here's the irony. The person who cast him in that video, Trapped in the Closet, is the casting director who I started with my first feature film, A Get Together. That was her first job, and she had no experience. She wasn't even thinking about being a casting director, but I hired her and influenced her, persuaded her to, yo, do this. You can do this. And she did it. Great job. Man, that movie, A Get Together, it was a house party movie. So we had over 200 extras. And you had the main cast, so she had a lot of work to do. But she went off and done, her name is Kenyatta Mutri, and rest in peace, she's not with us anymore. But she's went off and done a lot of things, but she got that job, R. Kelly Trapped in the Closet, from A Get Together. Now, she hires Lil Rel for that, So the thing is, for you not to even mention me or that movie, you got to dig down in the roots of it. Like, you wouldn't even have that job if I didn't start this person with this job. You feel me? So that's what made me like, yo, I gotta go. They not mentioning me out there, you know? It's like when you get an opportunity to mention me and you don't, I take that personal.
Okay.
Now I gotta go. So the minute and dude, it was within a week I was gone. I was like, I left, just left for LA, and I just took a leap. Had no plan, nothing, just going. So when I got out there, man, by the grace of God, everything just lined up for me. Had a place to stay, my own apartment, rent free, you know, because my one of my good friends out there, his wife is property manager of a property out there. So she gave me one of the model homes. Like, here, you stay there as long as you want till you get on your feet. Perfect. The minute I get out there, I go to a meeting, to a club. I wanted a club on Sunset Boulevard. I didn't want to go nowhere else. So it's a comedy club there called The Dojo. And it was in West Hollywood on Sunset. And the owner was from Bolingbrook, Illinois.
Ooh.
Trevor Kevalo, white guy, cool as hell. And he's like, be cool, man, yeah, whatever you want, bro. So I was like, that leap I've taken has just like, was confirmation. God just like, yo, you doing that. You got faith, that much faith to just get up and go. I'm gonna line it up for you. So there, man, within 2 months, I got my room started in January 2020. Every Tuesday, call it the Comedy Gym. The Comedy Gym was for comedians to come work out with no pressure, just come out. I'm on the same strip as Laugh Factory and Comedy Store. Then you had the Dojo right down the street where I was. I'm the new kid on the block with the Comedy Gym. My goal was to get Eddie Murphy to come in and work, because this is at the time when Eddie Murphy just got that deal
with Netflix.
$70 million to do a Netflix special. That's a lot of pressure. Eddie want to work. He wants to work out, but Eddie's not going to go to the Laugh Factory, the Comedy Store, where he has to be Eddie Murphy. Like, because when he walks in there, you better be funny. You better be Eddie. It ain't no coming working out material. The Comedy Gym was set up for that. Bring your notebook, Eddie. Come on out. You know, it's no pressure. You know, just come on out. It's people here to just hear you work out your new bits. You know what I'm saying? If it's not good, that's okay. That's what the gym is for. You know, you're practicing, you're working out. So that was my whole goal. And like I said, any comedians, just wanted to come work out and stuff like that. And that was going for a few months until COVID hit. Then I came home.
Until some Chinese dude ate a bat. Ate
Right.
a bat by the Chinese government and TikTok. TikTok and the government gave us COVID, man. 5G COVID. I'm not taking the vaccine.
Right.
We're finishing. You got any plugs or any plugs, and to tell the people here any plugs, any advice?
Yes.
Any last words?
Well, actually,
not last words. Somebody's dying.
Well, here's the thing.
Yes, sir.
Now that I'm back home, I just started the Comedy Gym Chicago now. So it's the Comedy Gym going on every Tuesday. I had a soft opening. I didn't make no big announcement about it. Just want to see, how it is without any advertisement, just word of mouth. And we've been going for a month now, and with a nice crowd, social distance, is real cool. We got some young comedians, actually comedians who just first time on stage started at the Comedy Gym. And we do it at Diversity Bowl. Diversity Bowl, right off Fullerton. I think it's 2011 West Diversity Parkway. I think that's the address. 2011 or 2211. And
I'll put the links in.
So that's why I am every Tuesday, 8 o'clock, man. We got the Comedy Gym Chicago going on there. We got a lot of young comedians, man, working out. And like I said, who knows who may walk in there just want to work out. There's no pressure at the gym. No pressure. Because the thing is, too, about north side of Chicago, that's the industry side of town of Chicago, of comedy. South side is more of a hustle side, like get your money on,
hit the shows,
get you grind it.
One night.
But the north side is where the industry comes to town. When they come to Chicago, Just for Laughs, Comedy Central, when they come do the scouting, they don't go past Roosevelt, South side, They stay right on the north side where they got the Laugh Factory, the Zanies, Second City. So if I was going to do the Comedy Gym Chicago, it had to be up north. Because right now, once the industry comes to town, I want the comedy gym to be in the same, lineup as the Comedy Bar and, Zanies and so on. So that's what I'm doing on Tuesdays. But yeah, like you wouldn't even know who Bernie Mac was if Russell Simmons didn't come to. He didn't want to be up north. Russell Simmons wanted to find somebody on the south side in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Because that was what Def Jam was about. You know what I'm saying? It was that street comedy, and that's how they found Bernie Mac. So yeah, that's what I said. So North Side every Tuesday, industry show.
Okay, and social media. Yeah, find me on Facebook, B Cole. You can also find me on Instagram, B Cole comedian B Cole on Instagram, and also B Cole Films on Instagram. My YouTube channel is B Cole Films. I got sketches. I got a YouTube series on there called. It's a sketch comedy show called The Man Who Starred in Over 10 Million Movies. Check that out. And then I got a lot of stand up. Yeah, and you got some singing, some rap. I heard some rapping too.
I got
some singing here.
I got a rap album coming out, man. My first single called "In My Mama's Basement." And
then check out the Lobo Den Instagram, the Lobo Den podcast.
Yes,
I have a rating, but I'll read it on the intro. Somebody gave me finally a rating. Not finally, I've had them, but I finally got a new one. Thank you. So follow Lobo Den podcast if you want a sticker. DM me for stickers. Again, if you want to do a podcast, James Webb, People of Comedy Studio. Great setup here, so hit him up if you want to do a podcast. And maybe in a week or two, hit me up and DM me if you want to know my sister's DM or OnlyFans, because I'll check with her. It might be verified soon. My sister, hey, my mom needs fucking rent money, all right? So,
real quick before you close
sir.
out, I want to plug Zanies. Zanies is sponsoring the network again this month. So, Zany Chicago, go to chicagos.zanies.com. Again, Chicago.zanies.com. They got shows going on, I believe, 7 days a week. The lineups are insane. September through the end of October. It's all great. Social distancing is enforced. There's hand sanitization stations everywhere. All the menus are digital. It's the best place to be inside for comedy. Zanies.com/Chicago or Chicago.zanies.com.
Zanies.com. Miss Pat's coming. They got a bunch of people coming. I'm doing. It's not going to come out. I think I'm doing their next week. But before I invite people, I want to see what lady I want to invite first, and then work around that. The other people to coordinate. So my life with women is in shambles. All right, B Cole, thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Love that.
Thank you.
Lobo Den.